Now, the chairman of the Ghana Gas Senior Staff Association, Richmond Alamu, says allowing a private entity to set up a plant that will feed on the same raw material source as that of the state entity will impede the growth of the state-owned gas processing plant. The association earlier issued a statement expressing displeasure about the manner in which the Energy Minister, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, is managing affairs at the plant. Speaking on JoyNews, Richmond Alamu called for President Akufo-Addo's intervention.
Altered and reversed. That's all we want from the workers of Ghana Gas.
Why do you want the contract halted? What are the issues with that?
Okay. Let me tell you. Let me just give you a 20 seconds brief history of Ghana Gas. Ghana Gas was established under the leadership of his late ex-president, His Excellency John Mills. And before Ghana Gas came or was established, there were a lot of foreign companies or private companies that wanted to build a gas. But through his great inspiration and vision, he thought it wise for we to have a government company to benefit to a larger extent majority of Ghanaians. And after that vision, the gas plant was constructed, which was also commissioned by ex-president John Dramani.
Yeah. So we know of all of these details. So what are the fears that if they allow Gensa to set up a gas plant, what do you fear?
So let me tell you, there are a lot of genesis. If you don't understand the basis to where we are praying to be done, you understand. If this Gensa deal is passed, you can see the Bryce Simmons, the money and ASF report on this Gensa issue. We don't believe that is the best way for it to go. Apart from Ghana Gas, VRA, ECT, workers have also expressed the same similar concern. Let me tell you, a company that owes the nation for taking gas that have not paid and is being given the same approvals to use the same money or some more money to construct a gas plant. A company, Gensa, repatriate over 80% of its gas proceeds outside Ghana to South Africa to a company called Oppenheimer. Let me tell you this. We, the workers of Ghana Gas, we do not want this issue to be made political. We want to talk on the technical issue. This bill is very bad for the nation Ghana. That's what we pray to be reversed.
Now, what are your fears if the intervention you are expecting doesn't come through?
Let me tell you, this intervention will come through because you can imagine some years back the issues that we used to have with Johnson in the country. Since the inception of Ghana Gas, this issue has been resolved. And as a nation, we have no other option to make sure that this Gensa deal is reversed. Ghana Gas currently contributes to about 75% of the fuel for power generation. So this issue cannot be, a blind eye cannot depend on this Gensa deal to be reversed or be halted. For the workers of Ghana Gas, our point is simple. The issue about Gensa deal is very bad for the nation Ghana. And in the long term, will have a lot of financial consequences for the nation. Not to talk alone about even going to collapse state-owned companies like Ghana Gas, VRA, ECT, and Co.
But how will Gensa lead to the collapse of Ghana Gas? Let us understand.
So the reason why we are saying that Gensa currently is being, we feel the Energy Ministry is pushing for them to build a gas processing plant. For you to build a gas processing plant, you need raw gas to process. And currently, we have about 200 million scf of raw gas. Currently, Ghana Gas processes about close to 120 to 150 million scf per day. So if they are processing, if this gas plant from Gensa is being approved, where are they going to get their raw source of gas from? Eventually, then they have to take the same raw gas that Ghana Gas processes at a cheaper rate to Ghanaians. So this is what we are calling for. This Gensa, apart from that, Gensa is a company that repatriates over 80% of its revenue outside Ghana. And if you look at what Ghana Gas brings to most Ghanaians, apart from the president's initiative of indigenizing the workforce to make sure that we save about $2.8 million per day, right? It's also provided indirect and direct jobs for over 1,000 Ghanaians. Not to talk about the corporate social responsibility aspect of issues in terms of the education sector, health sector, and other sectors.
Now, the Motor Traffic and Transport Department of the Ghana Police Service says road accidents recorded between 2021 and 2022 have declined by 7.55%. In 2021, there were 16,182 crashes compared to 14,960 in 2022. Now, deaths as a result of accident have also reduced by 20.10% from 2,970 to 2,373. Now, the MTTD released statistics for the year 2022. Let's take a look at what the data says. Now, in terms of the total number of cases from 2021 and 2022, in 2022, we had 14,960. In 2021, we had 16,102 road accidents. Now, the difference is that there's a reduction of 1,222, representing 7.55% in terms of accident between 2021 and 2022. For the total cases and fatalities, in the regional breakdown, in Greater Accra, for the total number of accidents, Greater Accra recorded 5,633 with 370 fatalities. Ashanti region recorded 3,372 road accidents with 382 fatalities. Eastern region recorded 1,478 road accidents with 329 fatalities. Tema region recorded 1,025 accidents with 115 fatalities. Central region recorded 656 road accidents in total with 111 fatalities. Now, according to the data, in terms of total number of vehicles involved, in 2022, there were some 25,754 cars. Now, for the 2021, we had 27,612. So the difference is that there's a reduction of 1,162 vehicles, representing 6.74%. Now, the data again continues to give us a breakdown of the number of vehicles involved in terms of the types of vehicles involved. So for 2022 and 2021, for 2022, we had 8,645 commercial vehicles involved, with 11,677 private vehicles being involved in the number of accidents recorded in 2022. We had 5,432 motorcycles being involved. What about 2021? In 2021, we had 9,663 commercial vehicles being involved in the number of road accidents recorded. We had 11,787 private vehicles and 6,166 motorcycles. Now, in terms of the number of vehicles involved, regional breakdown, in Accra, we had 2,607 commercial vehicles as against 6,047 private vehicles. In Ashanti region, we had 2,349 vehicles as commercial vehicles against 2,136 private vehicles. Now, in Eastern region, we had 1,148 commercial vehicles as against 928 private vehicles. And then in the Central region, we had 444 commercial vehicles as against 391 private vehicles. Now, it goes on to talk about the number of persons who were killed. In 2022, we had 2,373 persons who lost their lives through road accident. In 2021, we had 2,970 people being killed, a difference of 597, representing 20.10% in terms of people who were killed. Now, the Road Safety Authority is applauding itself for its contributions towards the achievement made in the reduction of incidents during the period. Acting Director of the Authority, Engineer David Adonting, tells us more.
I must say that First of all, let me commend all Ghanaians for supporting the National Road Safety Authority in achieving this result in 2022. Indeed, it's been as a result of hard work, good leadership by the National Road Safety Authority, and then rallying around the authority, the also efforts of our stakeholders, most particularly the media, and then the Ghana Police Service. I must say the DVLA, the road agencies, and all of us have worked together jointly to contribute to where we are so far. We started this whole dispensation when this year we took it upon ourselves and had it as a vision to start the reduction of road traffic crashes and associated injuries from this year, putting in place measures that practically will inure on a benefit on what we do. We started with a campaign, with the Stay Alive campaign, coming all the way the past 3 years, and 2 years ago, we have the Drive Safe campaign also from multimedia supporting us very strongly. We have other media houses also taking it upon themselves to highlight more on the issues related to road traffic crashes. The advocacy from our advocates, the communication was very strong. We're able to drive the whole Ghana along with us to instill discipline in road use. We had the police, especially the IGP, Akufo-Addo Dampare, also coming strongly with some enforcement measures. He brought in the PARI, Police Action Against Rider Indiscipline, the Police Invisible Eye, and a few others to support the campaign. So whilst we were using education, the National Road Safety Authority and other stakeholders, we had the police also supporting with practical enforcement on the ground. And that is how come you see that, for example, motorcycle safety has now been highlighted very clearly. We have seen the number of motorcycles involved in crashes reduced. Hitherto, that was one of the most critical problems and challenges we were facing. How to hold these motorcycle riders. Some of them, as you call them, Okadas and so on. But we wanted to find a strategy to hold down the crashes as related to these motorcycle riders. And I think we did very well. The police brought in the PARI. We supported with education. And then we had some of you from the media, for example, Mata Crenstill, coming with Red Assault Messagina. You know, all these kind of things were put together. And today, here we are, singing a song of achievement as regards the number of crashes, the number of injuries, and the number of fatalities, and then also the number of vehicles involved in the crashes, the pedestrians involved, and motorcycles involved, commercial, and so on. So I think collectively we all take the credit, and I must say that we commend every Ghanaian, both senior, junior, and wherever we are, we have all contributed to this achievement.
Now, the numbers are still high anyway. So, what more should we do to ensure that we continue on the reduction line to reduce the number of carnage on our road?
Yes, I think my motivation is that it is refreshing, very exciting to see numbers coming down. That is a clear manifestation of the fact that we are committed, we are focused, and then we are up to the task. Indeed, even one death is too high because if you consider the repercussions on families, on society, and so if you have 2,000 and over deaths, it's still very high. 2,373 is still very high. But if we're able to make some savings, close to about 500 and some, close to 600 deaths, it means that if we put in more effort, we can make it. Assuming this year we are able to step up our game, education, enforcement, advocacy, and the rest. And then we are able to do more to reduce by 30% again. That means that we are hitting less than 2,000, maybe 1,600, 1,500 thereabouts. And then we keep on moving. Gradually, at one point in time in the near future, we may see deaths less than 1,000. And that would be very, very, very a huge achievement globally. We are targeting us by global route safety practices, and then by the UN Decade of Action, is saying 50% reduction by the year 2030. Now, we have started with 20% reduction. If we are able to do more this year, do more the next year, and so on, and if the requisite resources and efforts are then provided, I am sure that in no time, in the course of the year, we will hit this 50% reduction in fatalities before even the year 2030. And I think that is what we are up to. And so we are going to step up our game. We'll continue to engage the media, continue to run the Stay Alive campaign, carry the people of Ghana, all the whole Ghanaians along with us. The media, you're going to play a very significant role.
Now, the Construction and Building Materials Workers Union of TUC is attributing the mass layoffs in the construction sector to alleged IMF conditions. Now, more than 3,000 workers combined in construction companies across the country have lost their jobs. General Secretary of the Construction and Building Materials Workers Union of TUC Ghana, Richard Asamoah Mensah, says the Bank of Ghana has communicated to affected companies that it will not honor payment for work done. How so? He gives further explanation when he spoke to me a while ago.
I've said I'm Asamoah Mensah, the General Secretary for Construction and Building Material Workers, and not Asamoah Boateng. And the project I'm talking about is about contractor, Sinohydro, Viabuild, Amandi, Rolida, to mention a few. And it isn't about Bank of Ghana, which is not allowed them payment. A lot of workers are being sent home. Good, I said. And this is affecting grant projects. These grant projects have come out. Some of the companies have come out, specifically Sinohydro, that they are no more going to continue the work they are doing unless the government comes out clearly with them. And this is affecting all over Sinohydro company in Ghana. Again, there are other companies like Amandi Investment, which has also laid out about 1,500 workers now home, because government has not made payments to them. Contractor, the same thing, about 121 workers at Market Circus, Sakradi. Kumasi, about 335, and they are all complaining of payments to them. Now, with Sinohydro, which is a grant project, they have to finish this job at Western Region, that is the overhead, by June. And they are about 80% completed. Now, they have 3 major certificates which is ready for payment. And what happens is that normally when the contractor finishes with his job, with his claim, he will take it to the consultant. The consultant will have to take it to the Ministry of Roads and Highways. From there, it will have to get to, now from Urban Roads, the contractor will send it to Urban Roads before the Ministry of Roads and Highways, and then to the Ministry of Finance, back to the contractor, and then to the bank for payment. And this bank is in China, and the Ghana government makes sure that they grant permission, they give approval for payment. Now, a letter was released from the Ministry of Finance on the 19th of December, which was headed as suspension of payment on selected external debt of the government of Ghana. And because of this letter, the Chinese have held payment of this claim, of this contract claim, because they see it to affect them, and they want more and deep knowledge about this letter. It is not being done by the government of Ghana, and because of that, they have stopped work. As I speak to you, on the 7th of this very month, we met them. That was last Saturday. They came out emphatically that because they are not having a clear and deep understanding of the letter sent out, and they believe their bankers in China might have had a copy of this letter. Based on that, their claims are not going to be paid to them.
Now to other stories now, and Food and Agri Minister Dr. Kojo is this afternoon stepping down from his role. In the next 2 hours, the minister will meet with President Akufo-Addo to hand over his resignation. Presidential correspondent Elton Brobe is at the Jubilee House and joins us on Zoom now. Elton, what have you cited the minister himself?
So not yet, Grace, but I've spoken to him on phone about an hour ago. So he's expected here. His appointment with the president, according to him, is at 2 p.m. So we are like 30 minutes into midday. So meaning he has an hour and 30 minutes to get here. And then he confirms to me on phone that he will be tendering his resignation to the president and to thank him for the opportunity to serve as Minister of Food and Agriculture from 2017 up till now. And that the time has come for him to explore other areas of his life, and that is the reason why he will be resigning. But he also tells me that even though he may be tendering his letter today, the resignation will take effect in 2 weeks, which means that he will have the next 14 days to wrap up properly and then hand over to whoever the president may appoint to take over as the Minister for Food and Agriculture. So that is the letter that is coming from him directly, so we can confirm that the minister will indeed resign today, and that scheduled meetings at 2 p.m.
There's been talks about possible reshuffle. Bring us up to speed on that as well.
So there's been a lot of talks about this in the run-up to the end of the year in 2022. There was, heightened discussion about reshuffle. Now we know that last week the Trade and Industry Minister Alan Chemanten left office. Today we are hearing that which is confirmed by the minister himself, that the Food and Agriculture Minister will also leave office. So you can say that there's already 2 spaces that will be available, at least from now to the end of the month. But what I'm picking here at the corridors of power is that we should expect something of a major reshuffle, likely between the 16th, the 17th of January. Now, sources close to the fourth floor is the president's office, is that President Akufo-Addo is likely to undertake an international trip to Dubai on the 16th of January. And within that time, the list will come out. Some ministers, I'm told, who will be out of government has already met with the president. The president has told them the reason why we no longer work with them. That the announcement of a race will not come as a surprise. So though themselves are aware, they will no longer be serving in the government of President Akufo-Addo from the 16th of January. But as to who is out, who is going where, who is leaving government completely, that information we are still, working our sources to get. But what is clear is that Trade Minister is out, Agri Minister partially will be out from today and eventually out in 2 weeks' time. So the call for reshuffle clearly is something that is on the table, and that cannot be dismissed. And what we are picking is that it's likely to happen around the time President is out for this international trip to Dubai.
Okay. What else is happening at the Jubilee House?
So the President, at the start of his government, issued this President New Year service where he always meets with religious leaders to offer prayers for the nation and to look at the challenges ahead and how best the religious leaders can help, help government steer through the challenges. Remember that we're already facing an economic challenge, and the president says that he's looking forward to, engaging with the religious leaders to see how best they can communicate their message to their followers. He admits that the country is at a crossroads, but he says that with determination and commitment from his government and indeed from the people of Ghana, government will be able to restore the economy to its sound footing. So that was basically what the program was about. But later this afternoon, we'll also be meeting with some, heads of the Apostolic Church and Assemblies of God at 4 p.m. on, similar exercise.
Okay, grateful. That's my colleague Elton Brobe, who's our presidential correspondent today. Now, let's hear from the president himself.
Of the Catholic Bishops' Conference. Let me first of all welcome you very warmly to the seat of the presidency of our country, to Jubilee House, and to say that even though I'm aware of the news The formal nature of its conveyance to me today is a matter of great sadness for me, and I think for all of us. If my memory serves me right, the late Cardinal was the third Ghanaian Cardinal that we have been privileged with. Indeed, the second was responsible for my visit the first time in my life to the St. Paul's Basilica in Rome. I was there with the Metropolitan Archbishop of Cape Coast and was part of the government delegation led by the late Senior Minister J.H. Mensah to accompany Cardinal Texan when he was elevated by the then Pope John Paul II. And I felt that it was appropriate that in my time too, that the Catholic Church should be blessed with yet another cardinal. And the church fell on a man of great dignity, humanity, man who I think most people who came into contact with had great confidence in, and who made it quite clear the spiritual nature of his mission here on earth. A very impressive man. And when I heard the news that he had been elevated by the Holy Father, by the Pope, I thought it was most appropriate. Instructed the Chief of Staff and everybody here at the presidency about the need for us to show maximum solidarity, not just with the church, but also with him personally on this elevation, because as far as I'm concerned, it brought renown to our country that a Ghanaian should be so elevated. The delegation went in my name to accompany the investiture and the rites, only for him to run into this problem from which ultimately he did not recover. It's a matter of deep regret for me. It's a matter of deep regret for our country. It's a matter of deep regret for the church, because I have no doubt that coming back to Ghana as a cardinal in full fitness and form, he would have done a great deal to contribute to the evangelical mission on which the church is committed.
Now, the National Communication Officer of the National Democratic Congress, Sammy Gyamfi, has joined many to lash out at the presidency over allowing American rapper Meek Mill to film a music video at the Jubilee House. Sammy Gyamfi says the act is a disgrace to the country. According to him, Ghanaians are tired of what he calls a constant embarrassment brought on the country by the presidency. He spoke on a Kusi saying on Asempa FM Monday.
Na ama wo feri mpusa we Ghana ni obi
adentia
because we there you know an say na me Jubilee House Ghana man penyin na soye, the seat of government, the seat of authority, the authority of our sovereignty. Na ye koyes a concert we all.
I sometimes feel shy to be identified as Ghanaian because of such things. This is ridiculous for such a thing to happen in the Jubilee House. That's totally disrespectful. Is the Jubilee House now a high school entertainment hall or perhaps a recording studio? Ghana is currently facing a leadership problem. Ghana is currently facing a leadership problem. The government doesn't care about anything, including its people. The leaders are careless and reckless. They have no sense of decency. How is it even possible for the Jubilee House, where all the executive affairs of the country are being held, be used for such a thing? They were inappropriately dressed, and some even had the guts to put their arms around the president. Ghanaians could let that slide. But to make matters worse, they went ahead to shoot and upload that video, which has gone viral on social media. What have Ghanaians done to President Akufo-Addo? Why is he disgracing Ghanaians?
Hello, good afternoon. It's time to do business. I'm Beverly Broom. Cocoa Board is forecasting about 750,000 tons of cocoa production this crop season. This is expected to be higher than the last season's production. Here's more in the following report.
Ghana achieved a historic feat of more than 1.14 million tons of cocoa production, about 45% increase in the 2020-2021 crop season. However, this fell significantly in the 2021-2022 crop season, though official figures are yet to be made available by Cocoa Board. But reports indicate that Ghana's graded and sealed cocoa arrivals stood at 350,000 tons by December 15 since the start of this crop season. This is up 76% from the 199,000 tons in the same period the previous year. The 2022-2023 crop season commenced in October last year. The producer price to be paid at all buying centers is 384 cedis per load of 30 kilograms for grade 1 and 2 cocoa beans, or 800 cedis per bag of 64 kilograms. A ton of 16 bags is, however, going for 12,800 cedis.
Now, demand for shea butter is one of the increase in markets across the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, mainly driven by the Harmattan season. Traders, however, say they are unable to cash in on the high demand due to limited supply of the commodity. They point to the uncontrolled foreign merchants who buy in bulk at prices the local traders cannot compete with. Lab FM's Clinton Yeboah explores the situation.
The Ghana Meteorological Agency has predicted an intense dry conditions that may prevail until February. These dry weather conditions may be characterized by cloudless skies and hot days across most parts of the country. The conditions leave people with dry and cracked lips and skin and an intense paleness. In this Harmattan season, shea butter, referred to as nkutu, is the traditional lotion and moisturizer in some Ghanaian homes, acknowledged as effective to contain the effects of the season. The high patronage of shea butter often attracts other traders to divert into dealing in the commodity. However, some traders are decrying the low supplies. Beatrice Kakari joined the business due to the high demand. She is worried her distributor sells to the highest bidders.
Into Harmattan, na me ton kuto, na me ton pampers. Na penny buy and na me shesa dear. Mrs. Tabitimen chaye ton kuto ni a. Na so na me ko fam kuto ni bi. Ne bo na ya den. Ahye ya. They say China for no kwasire mo no. E ko tu omo ba ska no omo hu. Ai dia be ka bia na so ma twa ka no omo ko. Omo nsento so. Yeso ya no mo aga na ne ye ni sa ska sa na. Obeya dia ya peto so.
Ajara tells Love News her prices have shot up to over 200% to meet up her capital. She reveals the foreign merchants buy raw and processed shea butter products, leaving finite leftovers to be processed for sale to local traders. Her shelf is empty, unlike previous seasons.
Chinese for na baba say to money na moto ai aba no musa ton kuto no biu pesa de 25 cedi first no kura we kura ndu 2 cedi aka se se obo sa hanyina ya manin kuto se sa o mo kwajo ba kura o mo nyan kuto dis o mai anya ba ku sa na boano no mo de abele.
Serena Saidu laments the high prices are affecting her returns.
First no na nebo from e twa no 1 cedi miensa 2 cedis first so dey ayan miensa 5 cedis nti wu ya na sa no a ye twa na sa no nya omo kan se no omo na omo tim nya kakra wo so.
Traders have appealed to the government to take bold measures to secure local share butter business.
China for ne ba mo bintu a eno na so mo ye
sengeti me ba from ma ke be bo anke pe brese e bi anya nipa mionu anase me ensale so be odi si ba bia e beto.
Shea butter is an ivory-colored fat that softens and hydrates the skin and protects it from the damage from the environment. Reporting for JoyNews, Clinton Yeboah.
That's all for business. We have more business on the marketplace at 1 p.m. and also on myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Beverly Broom. Have a good afternoon.
And that's it for our bulletin for today. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. My name is Samuel Kojo. Brace Marketplace is up next. Good afternoon.